Ladies and gentlemen, Honourable Todd McClay, Honourable Piyush Goyal, and not a speeding ticket in sight on this trip. Thank you so much.
Our third largest ethnic group. You're not meeting all of them in Rotorua, but we're going to meet as many of them as we can.
Fantastic. Typical politician, didn't answer my question. That's okay. I mean, we are, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get a bit more serious. It's not all jokes. I'm interested, gentlemen, you are very experienced ministers. You've ministered 6 years in your current roles. Minister McClay, it's your second time around, and things are always better the second time. You now have met each other on the international stage, on the circuit, how many times?
Probably 8 or 9 times.
And
even more.
And I'm offering you, I'm trying to get the mood music for the trade deal right here. I'm offering you the chance to say nice things about each other. What Minister Goyal and Minister McClay, what is each other's style, working style on the international stage in those forums?
You want to go first?
I'll take the last word. You go first.
Well, I think I must share with you that Minister Todd McClay is so lovable, so affable that almost all the trade ministers get along very well with him. He's extremely kind, extremely courteous, and always willing to offer solutions and bridge the gap when we are all engaged in some very serious discussions or negotiations. I find Todd is always willing to come up with some nice, simple way to get everybody on the same page. So in that sense, it's always a pleasure to have him around when we are on international engagements. When we are alone with each other, I think he's too sweet. No rough edges, very, very polite. I have not heard him raise his voice even once, and I can't say the same about myself. And truly a delight. One would almost feel from the day we first met, we just hit it off very, very smoothly. And I don't think we've ever looked back. So he has a walk-in relationship with me. It's something like we look forward to meeting each other. And that's what set the tone. Otherwise, I don't know if some of you may be knowing, India and New Zealand attempted to do a free trade agreement 20 years ago, 25 years ago, but could not succeed. This time around, right from the word go, both of us decided that we'll look at this relationship completely afresh. We won't go into the old files, we won't go into the old disagreements. And the beauty about the current round of discussions is we both recognize and respect each other's country sensitivities. Every country has certain sensitivities. For example, wherever I go in the world, wherever, I love to carry a little bites, a little snack, Indian snack, so that anytime I'm a little in the mood for something spicy or something crunchy, I just have to get into my bag, open it, and I'll have maybe, I don't know how many of you know about Indian snacks, but one or the other Indian snack with me. My assistant has been on my back ever since the New Zealand trip was planned, because they all know that I'll have these snacks. You're not carrying anything into this.
Well, you've already got in trouble with the authorities once, Minister. Don't do it again.
So I don't know how much I have left behind in Singapore on the way in. And the rest I left behind at the airport. And in India, wasting food is considered completely taboo. And it was painful to see those delicious knickknacks being left behind before I came in. But that's only to demonstrate. We both agreed that we look at this relationship respecting each other's sensitivities and coming up with solutions which are a win-win to make this partnership go to the next level. In life, it's not always that you can get everything you want. And every relationship has to be seen in the context of each other's, of the possibilities of that relationship. So what I do with European Union, for example, a $20 trillion economy, or what I do with the 10-nation ASEAN group, collectively a very large population, a very large economy overall in the aggregate, cannot become a benchmark for what I will be able to do with New Zealand. Size, scale, all of those have to be taken into consideration. The kind of market size that I will be opening up versus the market size that New Zealand will be opening. So we both set the context, and the good part was that I found in him a very understanding person, oriented to having, with the long experience he's had in international world in Brussels, as a minister now for so long, probably 13, 14 years. So I think it's so easy to be able to communicate and get an understanding of the situation that probably this time around we can do it.
Wonderful. That was pretty good. So what have you got, sweetie?
Yeah. Well, look, thank you so much. That's so very gracious of you. I've got to say, from our first meeting, I was struck by the focus and drive and determination, but much, much more than that, the energy. Let me tell you a little story about when I visited just the end of last year, actually. We went up there again for another very quick one-day trip. I think in total I've been to India 5 times now, and I'm there Thursday next week as well. Piyush has invited me to come and speak to an international trade convention, and we have a trade mission from New Zealand, from the forestry and wood sector, going up to look for opportunities to create long-term partnerships with partners in India. But when we visited last year, the end of last year, I met Piyush in his parliamentary office in Parliament, because he was elected to Parliament last year and continued as a minister. And we went in there, and there were maybe 15, 20 people there and sitting around and so on, and was greeted very warmly and introduced to people. And I realized there were 3, maybe 4 different meetings going on there. And at the same time, telephones were coming to deal with a very wide number of things going on in his portfolios around the country. So the ability to have so much drive and determination and energy, and to focus on how to, as he has said, find solutions to challenges rather than continuing to just argue the same argument all the time, is something I absolutely respect in him. The second time that we met was the WTO ministerial meeting in Abu Dhabi very early last year. I was given the privilege of being one of the deputy chairs of the meeting. And it's fair to say that the WTO has achieved a lot for the world when it comes to trade. We need rules when it comes to trade, because without rules, businesses don't have the certainty that they need to make decisions about investment and creating trading partnerships that will help them grow. And trade is good for citizens in all countries. But it's also fair to say that the WTO has been very slow to make the decisions that it needs to, number one. Number two, it doesn't always recognise in the drive for rules or simplification of rules or getting barriers down that there are different speeds of development when it comes to trade in different countries. And I've got to say, Piyush, I very much admired the way that you made the case for India in that meeting, and when so many others would say, well, actually, we should, go home or just settle. You kept discussing and arguing. The reason I like that is my job as a trade minister, yours is to get the very best that we can for our countries. But as you've just said, we don't get the best for our countries, for our citizens, by imagining everything is there. Trade is when everybody wins. And if I look at the trading relationships we have around the world, whether it's in China or the EU, or whether it's in the UK or in America, New Zealand, of a population of 5 million people, always punches above its weight. As consumers, we do so very, very well. And so the opportunity that we have, and we agreed together, we shouldn't go to our prime ministers and recommend we should launch a negotiation unless we were committed to getting it done and finding solutions. And as we will work at this, and trade negotiations are never easy, they're never easy. But as we work at this, and when we land it, because we have both said we commit to doing so, then the trade will grow between us, the people-to-people links will grow, and actually it's your vision and your energy that has allowed us in a very short period of time to get close enough to something that 20 years ago people only dreamed of and wasn't possible. But, between us, I think we can get this done.